Hey guys, what's going on? Well, I think that was a powerful preaching that I did that last business or teaching. Powerful teaching. You know, I deal with it all the time because, this idea that people have been put into this slumber by God. And so if I tell them, I say, your ignorance comes from God, you know that. You're only stupid because God made you that way. It oh man, God wouldn't talk to me like that. You know, I'm a woman. Christian men wouldn't talk to a woman like that. Well, I guess we got to make up a whole new scripture for girls. Where's the triggering point at? You know, I'm not worried about that, and I will never worry about it. You know, Sometimes the drink makes people so damn, they so stopped up and can't see, can't hear, can't understand shit. Here they want to argue with you and all, and say, damn, this is not fair. It's not fair to you because, I've been where you are. I know what you know. I've been there. I'm trying to show you what I know. I'm trying to get you to understand there's more to it than that. Come on. But the fight, the taste of blood and flesh. Yes, my Lord's real. You can't tell me anything other than that. And then I will bathe you with blood, and stuff like that. And I said, God. Yes, I do remember those days. I do. So, anyways, that last one about Sarah's death, that's pretty wild shit, right? Well, listen. What that does is that also leaves our man Abraham. He's old now. And we're in the next scripture here, the next chapter, and I think it's 24. Yes, could it be 6? So 6 is the works, and look, Isaac is the first one to actually do what his father tells him to do. This is our first actual, conversation or thing between father and his son, his firstborn son. And remember, this is not real. This is a spiritual book, and so this is what happens inside of us. This is electrical, so non. This is spirit. This is all spirit. If Abraham's talking with God and walking around with God, he's got to be in spirit because God is spirit. God doesn't walk around, and he's not this invisible thing leading everyone around. That's silly. That's silly thinking. But I know we've all had to go through that. But the idea is that now he doesn't have Sarah's gone, so he's gonna. What he's taught is well, he's already been given the seed. Now the seed has already happened, and you can't get rid of God once you got God on you. All right. So what he does is he's telling his son. He says, I'm old. He says, put your hand under my thigh. This is how they used to grab each other's growings all the time. That's probably why I do that. I just grow up and grab them. It's like I'm swearing. There's no reason for that. But anyways, it's like grabbing this area of the Bible of the body, and this is how they used to swear back then. You had to cup the boys. And yes, that's the way it is. That's the way it was, because it's an outside approach, right? But what it's really meaning is that this is a type of girding the waist, and that that you're going to swear that you're not going to take a wife from these Canaanites out here, this land where I dwell. Tell me that you're not going to take one of these. I want you to go in the land of my father. I want you to go and find someone from my family. I want you to marry up someone like that. And the servant is, and they're only saying that he is the head servant. They haven't named him, but we know who the head of the household is, or who everything has been given to, and that's Isaac. All right. But this is spiritually speaking, right now. He says, promise me that you'll go and do this. And his servant says, but I don't, peradventure, I don't believe that she will follow me. And he says, well, I'll tell you, this will be a between you and me. If she doesn't, this will tell you right off the bat. But he brings about this idea that, you're going to find that God will take you into this place. God will lead you through this land. This is through meditation. Okay. But they're talking about it. He will find you. He will put you in the right place, and he will get you in the right place. So you'll go and marry someone from our brethren, from someone within our family. All right. Don't bring on the stranger. If you marry someone from the Canaanites, which is where he dwells, which is the world around us, then you're going to be taking a wife and it's going to be on the lesser side. And that's the fallen angel story. No, go inside, come into the family, come in, because this is the family. No strangers. All right. So this becomes Nahor, his son, Abraham's brother's daughter, which is beautiful. All right. So he winds up, and it repeats itself. It's a really long story. This is a long. Listen, in the 50s or 60s. Let me go and look and show you. It's amazing. That's why I don't want to go through the whole thing with you. You read it. It is 67 scriptures long. That's pretty big. All right. So anyways, I know it, so I'm going to tell you about it. All right. So anyways, this idea, putting his hand under his thigh, actually is that this is where the swearing comes in, that you promise you won't take an outside woman, that you'll take an inside woman. And God will take you. God will send an angel and follow you. So anyways, he goes in, and this is it's the very first true travels of a Jew. All right. Someone who was inward. It's the first time. Okay. All these, remember, Abraham and all these people came together as like individuals, and not one of them was connected to God. No one had any seed sowed in them, and the seed, oh my God. Now we got a seed show. The first seed is Isaac. Oh my God, isn't this great? Right? And so what it comes down to is this. What's this? Oh goodness. It's going to bother me, so I'm taking it off. All right, so Isaac says, okay, all right, master. Remember, the whole idea behind Jesus is that his master sends him off to do what his master told him to do. That's what he said to do. So here is this whole situation. And you're looking at Abraham as being God right now, right? And he's sending his son off to go and do a job with him. And he's sending him off with 10 camels. And this whole business is this hand is underneath his thigh. So they're joined. All right. And all that his father owns is in his hand. And that's those 10 camels. All right. It's working out really good right now. All right. So we know that there's these 10 camels. Well, anyhow, the way it works. And when people come to the bottom of the bottom of the mountain that they're supposed to climb, well, this is before they go into the city. This is that idea, that second world in our groupings of the worlds, in our how we actually read our Bible. Well, they bow at the base of these things. This is outside of the city. He makes his camels to bow before going into the city. And of course, this is at that time of day when the women come to the well to draw water. All right. And so while this is going on, now they introduce us to Rebekah. who's the daughter of the son of Abraham, the brother of Nahor. All right. It's beautiful. Well, they introduce her, but that's just the narrator of the Bible. But unbeknownst to Isaac, he's like praying, said, "Oh my God, you know, maybe this could be it. You think this could be it? Could this be it? And all of a sudden, she appears out of nowhere, Rebekah, you know, and he's like looking at her and said, "Oh, maybe she'll pour some water for me." And she does. And she says, "I will pour for your camels as well." And like he's like, "Oh my God, check this out, man. Oh my God, my father, the God of my father is absolutely amazing. I'm never gonna doubt him ever again." But he's keeping it to himself. But he does give her a ring, put on her face, and some earrings and some bracelets. All right, he's wanting this. This is it, baby. You know. So his dad told him to go and find him a wife. So this is what he's told to do. All right. So as he's done it, and he's got to do it from his family. He can't do it from the outsiders. So he's got to obey your father and go do what we told us to do. So when we go into meditation, this is where we would shut down our lower mind, and then we would go on this little trip. And the first things that we would come to is this water. This is this idea of drinking from this well. And so, we have this happening all the time in these Bible stories where even Jesus comes to meet at Jacob's well, right? It says, and he meets this outsider. And I think she was a Samaritan, and they don't mix back then, And he says, well, he's spirit. She would be, the skin part. And so he's asking her, draw me some of that water, And then he tells her about his well, that if you drink from my well, baby, you're going to drink, you'll be taken care of forever. So anyways, here he is at this well, and the woman comes. This is what happens, because when you're at the well and your camels have been put to the knees, right? They're also in this position of being, it's the men in the town are gone, and the girls come out to water, and they had taken care of the men. They take care of this part. They say, so anyways, could this be this? He says, is there room at your father's house? Who are you? And she tells him who he is, and then he still keeps it all to himself. So he goes and he meets up with her family, and he's welcome in. There's plenty of room in their house for him. Plenty of room. It's not like there's no room at the end there. They got plenty of room. And does he, in the middle of all this eating, he was able to get some water to wash the feet of him and all the men that came with him, all his group. So this is the idea that they have crossed over. They're feeding from the fruit. But before he says, before I take anything from you, I have to say this. I am the heir of my father's. Let's just say, he tells this little story about his father, about Abraham, and about his mother Sarah, and how he was blessed with so many wonderful things, and that now that he was sent out to go out, because now his father's old and he has to. He did well. I look at it as it needs a replacement. You got to have a gal in there somewhere. And so what happens is he goes through the story again, and he tells them that he was supposed to do this. He was going to follow what his father said, that he was not allowed to take a wife from the Canaanites, from which his father dwelt. I mean, the whole thing repeats itself all over again. This is two. This creates a two that makes two out of this, all right? I will tell you that this is how it winds up. Because when he's all done, they're all like, say, oh my God. They said to him, well, if this was God's plan, well, you just take Rebekah. Take her on with yourself, man. Don't let us hold you up. And then, remember, this is the way it is on the sixth chakra. There's always this halt. She goes, why don't you let her hang out here for a little bit? Let's let the damsel hang out a little bit more, maybe 10 days. And he says, don't hold me up. If my father made this happen to me this quickly, then I'm going to do this. I want to. So he rose up, and his men, they all rose up the next morning and said, send me home. He says, oh, let her hang out for a little bit longer. He says, well, no. So they said, well, let's go and get Rebekah and ask her. Let it be heard. Remember, the whole idea is, well, I won't get this girl to follow me. And he says, you'll know right off the bat. So he asks her, would you go and follow this man? And she said, yes. And my goodness, how beautiful this is. Okay, now wait a minute. The story's not over. It's long. Remember, these are like dream sequences. This is his father told him what to do. It ordered him to do a certain thing, to go to his country. And in his country, this whole idea, then the whole story comes out. Where you do this is going inside this place, to go inside of us, to go and do this. So listen. Here's the third time that this gets repeated. Okay, now watch. At the end of the story, they use the word Issac, right like that. It says Issac goes out into the field to meditate. That's what they said they did. He goes out into the field to meditate. That's when you're going out of the body to meditate. You're going out into the field. He opened up his eyes, right? And he saw Rebekah. He saw Rebekah coming towards him on these camels, because that's what they had done. They had all these people, her and her damsels were all loaded up on camels to come find him. So you've got equal amounts. You've got the women, and then they're riding on the back of camels. So there's a good mix of male and female coming into the thing. And they show that she opens up her eyes and sees Issac. This is at the end of the story. So they're all dreaming about the same thing, and oh my goodness, and it all comes about in a meditation sequence at the very end of the story, where it says he goes out into the field to meditate, and she says, who is this guy who comes out into the field to meet us? And her servant, one of the servants, tells her, she goes, that is my master. That is my master. And so she veiled her face before she comes over. Right? Oh my God. And so Issac, takes her, Rebekah, into his mother's tent. They're all in meditation. And he knows her, and then he makes her his wife. Oh my God, you guys, just raise the hairs on my arms. It's just so beautiful. So anyways, this is the very, very first true connection of God through a seed that was planted and used correctly and brought about. There's another female, another wife to take this place of where Sarah was. Remember? All right. And this is just a family thing. Everybody else has got, this cave in their brain with a hole and a deck where there's nothing there, just a grave, just a place waiting to be restored, ready for you to create this place yourself as you do your works and become this religious nut, But it's really just the groundwork for what would happen in the future and what happens inside of you when you finally figure it out, And this means giving up your own understanding, all right, to do God's understanding, to do what God says. All right. I hear it all the time. That's your understanding. Well, bitch, you don't know what you're talking about. I can't make it up. All I can do is just tell you what it says. I can tell you that. All right. That's a long chapter, but it's beautiful. And the story came about 3 times, and I wouldn't doubt it if there was 9 worlds in that one or more or something like that. Well, go and check it out. Maybe I'll do it before I do the next one. But anyways, don't you just love hearing the stories told where they can actually kind of make sense to you now, you know, to those people that actually have the ears for it. I don't know what those people hear that don't have this connection. I just don't know. I just can't fathom it. It might be as strange as seeing the world around us without our own eyes and seeing all the beautiful colors and frequencies and business run around. Wouldn't that be beautiful too? You can't see that. All right, you guys. I love you. I'll chat with you soon. That was an easy one. Chat with you. Chat with you later.